Welcome back. Life's been a little bit busy the last couple of weeks. I haven't had a ton of chances to work on the car, but this episode, what I'm going to really do is focus on working on this rocker panel and trying to get it off. I know I'm going to replace the whole thing and probably the inner seal once I get it off and expose that to see what kind of condition it's in. So that's the focus today. What I want to do is get as much of that rocker panel off, and that'll give me an idea of what I need to order as far as new parts. So let's get at it. I started to go ahead and poke around at this rocker panel. I mean, I knew it was pretty rusted out. I know I was gonna have to replace it, and finally just basically took a screwdriver and picked away at it instead of just grinding it down. And I'm not sure about the inner sill, but let me show you underneath. This is the part that I just have to laugh. So, basically, whoever did this repair before, all this tin down here was just double layer sheets of tin screwed in right here. There's just a regular old screw screwed in, and then they just rubber sealed over the top of that and then just bondoed the heck out of it. So yeah, this is going to be a fun repair because I'm not sure there's a whole lot left there. This is pretty rusted. I mean, I'm just going to have to clear it all off and figure out what I got left to build from, figure out where I go from there. So I had an evening earlier this week that I worked on cutting this out, and you can see from that it's pretty rusted. I think ultimately what's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up taking the whole rocker out and the inner sill and having to replace this this footwell panel, which you can order. So I think what I'm going to do today, I went ahead and I took the door off. It'll expose the rocker panel spot welds that I can start drilling out. I just want to get as much of that rocker panel off as I possibly can. I'm going to leave the inner sill because I'll have to eventually weld in something to hold the shape of the car so it doesn't start going out of shape on me. But until then, I can go ahead and take the outer rocker part out and just leave the inner sill, even though it's not strong in there. So I'm going to try to get as much of that as I can. I tried the spot weld cutter out, and it works pretty well, but it's already kind of dulling some. So I'll just keep working on it and see how it goes. Once you drill through the spot weld, you can see you can just pop it off. So it works pretty well. If I were wanting to save something, it would be like save this, that I would be able to spot weld back on. It would be a little bit different. So this probably isn't the most effective way to take this off. I probably could just cut it off since none of this is going to get saved. But for right now, I'm going to keep just cutting away at the spot welds to get this thing off. So as I've chipped away at this and cut out some pieces and scraped away all the rubber sealant that was in there, you can see this is the inner sill, what's left of it. And then there's this, which is probably, again, aluminum or tin or something that's been laid up on the inside and then just rubber sealed like crazy on the outside. I know the floor, at least the floor section from in front of that's in front of the support rail, is the same thing. You can see it underneath. if I get a light up there. You can see that the floor is basically the same way. You can see it all the way over here. It's basically just a piece of tin that's been, or aluminum that's been cut and put in and then rubber sealed from the inside. So going to be replacing the whole floor, or at least the front section of it. But I got to keep cutting down and getting to the base of where there's actual metal. So I'm just going to keep moving down. The other thing that I noticed when I took the door off is this bottom hinge. You can see it wiggling there. There's not a whole lot left. So, I mean, I kind of knew I was going to have to replace the A-pillar. I think that's pretty typical. But, and I figured the hinge in the back part of it was probably rusted out. I mean, the plate that it connects to. So, that's gonna have to be a part of the replace, is this A-pillar and where this hinge, because that's definitely not gonna work right there. So what I decided to do, it just was faster, is I used an angle grinder with a cutting wheel, and I just cut the top of it off, and I went underneath and cut the bottom of it off. Basically cut this whole panel out. So it was in there like this. Just cut the whole panel out. And then I'm just using this separator tool to just go down through and bust the spot welds. It's just faster and easier than using a cutting wheel. I mean, using a spot weld cutter to get these out. So any spot weld that just won't cut through, I'll cut everything else around it and then just use the grinder and grind it off. But basically what I'm doing is just going through like this. You can see it. If I have to go from underneath side. This is kind of the first tough one right here. There, it busted. You can see it just bust the spot weld like that. And basically what I'm busting out right now is basically what I'm busting out right now is just the top part of the rocker panel from the inner sill or the inner lining. So definitely gonna have to get something to go. This is not super sturdy. It'll hold the shape for right now, but definitely gonna have to get something welded in to hold it so I don't lose the shape on the car. Well, I'm going to stop for today. I've gotten most of this rocker panel out. I'm not going to go back any further than here because I need to find out how this rear quarter attaches to it, but it gives me the lines for the inner sill, and I've got a pretty good idea what I need to order at this point, so I'm going to do that for sure. The biggest challenge I think is trying to find how far back I got to go to find solid metal to start building from. So I'm going to clean up all this mess, and that's going to be it for today. So thanks for watching. Hopefully I haven't gotten myself in over my head.